Alright, so we'll go ahead and get started. Weight-wise, again, all you need is something that we'll be working some strict pressing, so one that you can press up overhead, and that should kind of carry you through the rest of the workout. You can certainly have a heavier one on standby for a little bit later if you have it. But for now, we'll go ahead and get warmed up. A good bit of shoulders work today. So we're going to start walking out into a plank position, making sure that we're pressing down into the ground, extending those arms, those triceps, get a little blood flowing through there. We're going to push our hips up and back into a pike position, kind of again stretching out those shoulders. We're just kind of going back and forth, establishing that plank position, putting weight on those hands, and then pushing away, trying to put some weight on our heels, getting those hips up, stretching those lats a little bit. We'll go back and forth here at a pace that you feel comfortable with. So always like to kind of reinforce as we're going through these movements in the beginning of our workout that they are meant to warm you up and prep you for today's workout. So I want you to attack it with that in mind. Let's go one more time here until the hat comes off. You know, it's a good amount of stretching. So we're going to stay down on the ground here. We're going to go into some shoulder taps, so a little bit more active stability work. Still in that plank, hand to the shoulder, working to make sure that core is nice and stable. Actively pushing down through that arm. I'm going to get a quick exhale as we touch. Just make sure that core is nice and braced. Should feel that weight shifting between your feet, between those hips, but we're going to keep it nice and level across the ground. Bring that down. We're going to stay into kind of a half kneeling position. Do a little rotational work, so whatever knee is up, that opposite hand is going to go towards the ground, and we're just going to get a nice reach towards the ceiling with that other hand. We'll kind of pull that back down and back up, so we're getting a little bit of that hip hinge, reaching down, extending up, back down. Here, we'll go about 3 or 4 each side here. Again, promoting some rotation through that thoracic spine. A little work through our hip flexor as we kind of unload that movement. And certainly you can get a little calf work on there, or a little hamstring work on there as well. So we'll go to the other side now, still with that hinge reaching down, and extend that arm up. Try to be very active in the reach. Really extend both of those arms as long as we can. You know, working to kind of sync that with the breath. So typically when we're lengthening muscles during a stretch, that's when we like to exhale, kind of release some of that tension. Let's go one more this side, a little bit tighter for me. Then we'll hop back up. We'll give a little call out. I know that our clock is busted. I need to put some new batteries on it. Alright, so a little bit of neural activation here. We're going to do some drop squats. So we're going to do 2 legs, single leg drop squat. So if you haven't done these before, we're kind of getting in a set position where we're nice and tall, up on our toes. When I say go, we're going to drop to a single leg, find that balance, and I'll say reset. So we're going to go 3 on the left leg, 3 on the right leg. So we'll go ahead up and reset. Go. Dropping down quickly as possible, finding that balance. So I like to think about it as like frames in a movie. You know, one frame we're up here, second frame you're here. No transition, just back to back. All right, reset, still in the same leg. Go. Find that balance. Good. Reset. Last one this leg. Go. Stomping that ground, nice and stable. Good. So let's switch legs, going to the other side. We'll reset. Go. Pulling straight down. Reset. Go. find that balance. Ooh, feel like I'm on it today. Reset, last one, go. All right, cool. So, game plan, like I said, we're gonna do a little bit of pressing. So we're gonna do a half kneeling Arnold's press. So what this is gonna look like, with that knee down, we're gonna have that weight done by your kettlebell, whatever you have. Palm is facing you. We're gonna rotate out, and press up, come back down, rotate back in. So shoulder's gonna be very, very engaged this entire time. We're doing sets of 4 or 5, depending on the weight that you have. If you're a little bit heavier, maybe 4. If you're a little bit lighter, going for 5. Depending on the weight that you have, that tempo is going to be a big factor here. I don't want you just swinging and pushing in any which way. I do want to try to be as controlled as possible. So if you're kind of in between weights, I'd recommend going down for that lighter weight so we're able to maintain that control. Nice smooth motion across. Okay, so we'll pick that up. We'll get that, again, palm facing you. We'll rotate out, pressing up, and then smoothing that all the way back down. So you should feel that opposite oblique really fired up the farther that weight is away from that midline. Taking a little breath back to that start. So that's why we spent a lot of time kind of warming up that core. Huge core work here in this press. One more this side. It's not acting, this one. This is a tough one to come into. Alright, so when we get that last one, we'll switch to the opposite leg. Kind of facing forward, because I really want you to kind of hone in on that lean that we may or may not have going on. Ideally not. We're staying nice and tall. That core is very actively engaged. We're on that opposing side now. Making sure that we're really swinging that barn door of that shoulder all the way back around. Good 90-degree open press and smooth range of motion. Getting that palm all the way back towards us. Ooh, wasn't fully engaged there. It's all right, I'll reset. And the last one this side. And back down. And get off my knee for a second, it kind of hurt. I'll make sure I pull some mat in for a little extra support. But we'll take a quick sec. We're just going to do one more set, maybe 2 more sets, see where we are on time. But like I said, palm facing us, palm is facing away from us. So wrist is kind of moving a full 180 while that elbow is just 90 degrees. So kind of play with that a little bit. I'm going to get a little extra protection on the knee. We're going to go back to that front side, that first side, set number 2. We're going to keep that same position with that knee. Again, that opposing knee of that pressing arm is up. So pressing with that right hand, left knee is up. Try not to rush these reps, rather be in control. Breathing as we press, make sure we're not holding that breath. Last one. And bring that down. All right. This is a tough one. Just not really the range that we normally work. So it's always fun to use something a little bit lighter. Find a way to make it challenging. Don't always have to be more weight, more intense. All right, so we're gonna go to that opposing side, that second side. Actually, I felt like I did or I was a little bit more, I was going to say stable. I did almost fall over on this side the first time, but I feel a little bit more smooth on this side. A little bit more. Again, almost fell over on this side. You probably stop chatting, focus on really engaging that opposing oblique. Sometimes just having that tactile cue of that hand kind of holding those obliques helps us stay engaged. Last one. All right. Do a quick break. Shake that out. We're going to go one more set of those. Not going to do anything else super fancy. Just get that well-deserved rest. Take about 30 to 45 seconds of break, or for however long I talk. We'll kind of draw that attention. We just talked about that core a little bit, but make sure that we're very active in those hips as well. We're kind of tucking those hips up underneath. Those glutes should stay tight. The more tension that we can put through that lower body, the more that core is stabilized. All right, so don't make your core work to stabilize that lower body and the upper body. Let that lower body kind of be stabilized, help support that midsection. All right, we're gonna drop this down. We're gonna do one more round here. Make sure that shoulder's ready to go. Haven't talked a lot about that overhead position, but we've pressed a lot here in this class. So just making sure that we're hitting. We're gonna go round number 3. Make sure we're hitting that bicep to that ear, full extension at that elbow on that overhead. Finishing our 3rd round here on this press. Again, very active on that lower body. Glutes are squeezed. We're really trying to grip the ground with that front foot. One more. And bring it down. Oh, good way to test your range of motion in that as well. If it's difficult trying to get that arm all the way out here, good chance that pec is a little extra tight. We'll work to loosen that up, a little trigger point therapy, a little static stretching, any of that. Great things to go after we finish here. Quit stalling. We get to this other side. Try to get our last 4 or 5 reps. I'm going to try 3rd round here, not to fall over. Making sure that chest stays up tall. Those abs are pulling you tight, making sure that we're not leaning backwards. So trying to take out all of the lean in every direction. Finish up. Last rep. And good. All right. So like I said, usually I like to work in a rep range, just depending on the weights that we have. Kind of give you that freedom to not focus on necessarily getting as many reps as you can, but focusing on the movement itself, trying to put maximum effort into each repetition. So we're going to switch gears a little bit here. We've got about 10 minutes or so for some conditioning work. I'll show you a couple different variations. If you have just a dumbbell, it's going to be a little bit less variety, but still kind of get those repetitions. If you do have a kettlebell, I would recommend for this workout working a little bit of bottoms up work, bottom of the kettlebell to the sky, working on some grip strength, some neural capacity here, keeping that balance in that kettlebell. All right, I'll show you both versions if we don't have a kettlebell, if we just have the dumbbell. So movement number 1 is going to be a bottoms up clean, in which we're pulling that kettlebell up, bottom to the top, okay? If we just have a dumbbell, just a regular clean to the shoulder will be just fine. Okay? Everything's going to be 5s here, so it's going to be really easy to count. So we're going to go 5 bottoms up clean, or if you have the dumbbell, 5 cleans. All right? On that 5th one, we're going to hold at that shoulder, and we're going to go 5 single arm squats. All right? Lowering yourself down in control. Again, if you just have the dumbbell, just holding it at the shoulder, squatting down. I want you to focus on slow eccentric. Okay? If you don't have the balance of the kettlebell, just using the dumbbell, I want you to focus on really pulling yourself down to the ground, holding stability. If you want a little extra work, let me grab a dumbbell. If you want a little extra work, instead of resting the head of the dumbbell on that shoulder, we can punch that out front in what we call a nice power rack position, where you have 90 degrees at that elbow, lowering that down here. Okay? That's kind of your option with that. So, after we get our 5 bottoms up clean, we get our 5 bottom up squat on that side. We're going to go into a traditional clean. All right, no bottoms up, 5 times. And then we have 5 squats on that same side. Okay? So, 5 bottoms up, 5 bottoms up squat, 5 clean, 5 squats. So 4 movements there. And then we're going to finish that out with 5 swings, single arm swings on that side. On that 5th one, we'll switch arms and we're back to the top. All right? So we'll kind of go around together so we know what to expect, and then we'll kind of let you go at your own pace. Cool? So we're going to start with that weight in our hands, sitting nice and tall. We've got 5 bottoms up clean. Make sure we're hitting that stability each time. Again, with that dumbbell, we can just get out into that power rack, creating stability through that shoulder. On our 5th one, we're dropping that down into some squats. We've got 5 squats. 3, 4. After our 5th one, we've got no bottoms up, just going for regular cleans. Really going to burn this side. There's 2. Keeping that weight nice and close. 3, 4, and 5. And we've got 5 squats. Again, not rushing these squats. Looking to maintain control. Hitting that same depth every time. 4 and 5. 5 swings. Same side. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to switch on that 5th one and go right into bottoms up on that opposing side. Alright, so we're really keeping this kettlebell moving this whole time. 4 and 5. We've got 5 squats. So certainly put that weight down at any time we need to, but I do encourage you to really try to hold on to it for the remaining 5-6 minutes we have here. And kind of get one arm a nice little break. And of course we can rest in that front rack position at any time we need it. And 5 squats. Pulling ourselves down to the ground. Hitting our 5 swings. Trying to really get those hips in there. 3, 4, switch on that 5th one. And back to bottoms up on the first side. So just for the sake of it, we'll show a dumbbell round. We're cleaning up into that power rack. Create some stability. Then we go stability on those squats. Again, holding the head of that dumbbell out away from that shoulder. Still pulling ourselves down. Number 5. And then we've got cleans, which we're coming to that front rack.
Notice that weight stays nice and close to that body. Want to really avoid bicep curling on those. Nice proud chest on those squats. Here's number 4. Number 5. We've got our slings. 4 and 5. To that clean. 5. Good. We got about 2.5 more minutes. We'll see if we can get one more time around on each side. We're going to try to keep that weight nice and close again, protecting that back. Make sure we're hinging those hips. I think that's 5. And 5. We're getting back to that swing. Yeah, so much of this is going to be that hip hinge. Really trying to rest that other arm. 4 and 5. I'm going to switch back to the kettlebell just to make sure that we are kind of going back to that bottoms up. Again, this is that version of the bottoms up with the dumbbell. I'm going to get my 5 cleans, 5 squats on this side. Just the regular version, no bottoms up. Really keeping that weight moving today, getting that heart rate up. And 5. Here are 5 swings. You want to reiterate, we can keep, lost that train of thought. We can take rest time whenever we need to. If you find a place that you want to stabilize a little bit more for a little bit longer, or slow it down at any time. If you lose that bottoms up, just reset it and go again. I said, big neurological chain workout here, keeping that balance. All right, we're gonna probably finish this last round, whatever round that you're on. It's likely gonna be the last one. We're finishing in about 30 seconds. I'm gonna finish these squats, give my 5 more swings, and that should do it. Nice and tall in that chest. Make sure those hips are coming through. Last 5 swings. And that's going to do it for